All right, so thanks for coming out. Obviously, very excited to get the season started. We have a very tough opponent in Northwestern on Friday night. They are always ready to play. Fitz does a great job defending Big Ten West champs. It's going to be a great environment. It's prime time, on a Friday night. We'll have a lot of Spartans there as well. So really looking forward to it. We've prepared for the last 8 months for these opportunities, and so we have a few more days to go. The hay's never in the barn, but I feel good about our preparation to this point. So with that, I'll open it up to you.
You have a mic, so if you just raise your hand, we'll have mics for questions.
All right, Mel, I'm going to start you with the obvious question here. Who's your long snapper coming into this year?
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Obviously, though, the quarterback question is the one that everybody wants to know. But how do you see that going into the game, and do you have a starter picked?
Yeah, like I said, we still have a few more days to prepare. So, we're still in discussion, and we'll make the determination, and then we'll move forward.
Also, with the mics, can you just say your name and affiliation to do help? Thank you.
Larry Lage, Associated Press. With wins over Northwestern and also Michigan last year, winning ranked big games, what does that do? What did that do for you last year? And then going into this game, does it do anything for the players' confidence that many of them beat the 8th ranked Wildcats last year?
Well, this is a new year, and we have a new team, and so do they. So, the past is not necessarily predictive of the future. We just have to play the games. But, I feel good about our preparation, and it's going to be a 60-minute game. It's going to be a physical game. We know that, and, we're going to have to earn it.
Hey, Mel. Yesterday, Pat Fitzgerald was speaking about, facing you guys, and Matt actually asked him a pretty good question about preparing for a team and not knowing who the quarterback was going to be, and you guys have so many new transfers. And so do you feel as though that gives you somewhat of an edge knowing that their staff has to gather all this tape and kind of do a little bit more research maybe?
Not necessarily, Audrey. That's a great question. They have a veteran staff, and they're going to do a great job preparing, and we have to do the same thing. There's a lot of unknowns going into a first game, and so we'll have some unscouted looks. Even in pregame, we'll be scouting and looking for alignments and things like that, and who's in and who's out, and then we'll have to make adjustments during the game.
Hey, Melton, Front. Matt Wenzel with MLive. I was wondering, I know you said this is year 2, not year 1, like you've heard from some people, but just from a preparation standpoint, how much more prepared do you feel, and what's just the different, kind of the feeling on the team right now going into this opener compared to Rutgers last October?
We've had a lot more time with our players going into this opener in the strength and conditioning area and with nutrition, and then from a coaching standpoint. So we know our players a lot better now, and I feel that we're more prepared as a football team.
Matt Charbon of Detroit News. I know a lot of the focus has been on quarterback, but there's other positions where there's a lot up in the air, whether it's at center, but especially on defense, linebacker, cornerback especially. Have you started to zero in on the guys you're going to be playing a lot there and starting there yet? Do you feel like you're in a good spot with those spots going into the first game?
Yeah, we're going to play as many guys as we can, and those roles are still being set. I need to take a look at the film from today's practice. We practiced this morning, and so we'll see how that went. And we have guys that can play multiple positions. We have depth at linebacker and in the secondary, and so we'll just have to see how it shakes out at the end of the week here.
Hey, Mel, back row, Jennifer Hammond from Fox 2. Nice to see you. Just kind of piggybacking on Audrey's question about the uncertainty of who this team is. If someone said to you, who are these guys? What are they all about? What would your answer be about kind of how this team is built and who they are and what the mission is?
Well, the team is, I really like coaching these guys, and I like our staff. It's a joy to come in every day and work with these young men. They are very driven. They're focused. They're team oriented, and they're goal oriented. And they're not afraid to put the work in, which is critically important. So, what type of team we'll have, we'll have to see, because it's going to be about what we do, on Friday, and then we'll see what we have. But we can talk about it all we want, but at some point we have to go play, and so we're approaching that.
Is there an identity you're looking to kind of instill in them before they go play that you want them to practice with?
Yeah, there's an identity. We want to be best conditioned, be able to go harder for longer. We want to be smart. We want to beat ourselves. We want to play fast. Players play fastest when they know what to do. Make sure we have a tight game plan. And we want to be physical. And that's going to be key, because the name of the game is hit, and we have to play with great technique and fundamentals. When we do that with extreme effort, then you'll see the brand of football that our fans deserve to see out there. So, in a nutshell, that's what we're looking for.
Hi, Jenna Malinowski, State News. Going into this season, how do you feel about fans coming back, more specifically for rivalry games, and players that might be sophomores that haven't experienced that yet? Do you think it has any impact on player momentum?
I'm really looking forward to having fans in the stands. We all are, and get back to normalcy with the band, the fans, the cheer team, the dance team, Sparty, and all of those things that makes college football great. And we have great fans, and they're excited, and they're ready to go. There's some pent up demand there, so it's definitely going to make a difference for us.
Hey Mel, Fred Human, WILX. You always like to play at home.
Excuse me?
You always like, yes, darn Matt. You always like to play at home.
Yep.
But is there something about going on the road with 60 guys in kind of a mission to go into another stadium? Is there a camaraderie or a bonding that can really bring the team together when you start on the road?
Yeah, I mean, going on the road is always a challenge, but our approach is it's going to be the same. The type of football that we need to play. Obviously, we have to eliminate distractions. To go on the road, to win a game on the road, you have to have opportunistic offense. You have to have flawless special teams and relentless defense. And that's what it takes to win on the road.
Mel, it's sort of, in most years you play a Youngstown State or Graham Couch Lansing State Journal. You play somebody and it's sort of a crescendo into Big Ten play. Do you prefer this? I mean, obviously it is what it is, but in terms of a measuring stick, do you prefer the out-of-the-gate conference game that matters in the conference standings and all that stuff versus the usual way?
Yeah, I don't have a preference. I've been a part of both.
So the other question, back to the quarterbacks, do they know yet who's going to start on Saturday?
Do they know?
Yeah.
Are you asking me if I'm going to tell you who's the starting quarterback?
No, you made that clear. Well, if you would, that'd be great. But you said, do they know between the two of them?
Yeah, they may know.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. That's something I won't do.
Mel right here, Stephen Brooks, 24/7 Sports. Northwestern's had a lot of turnover as well. They have a lot of new guys as well. What are a couple sort of big picture keys to the game that you see with this team that's a little bit different than the one you saw last year? What are some things that, I don't know if concerned you the right word, but your sort of big bullet points to the team this week?
No, we've emphasized the things that we have to do to have success. So, obviously taking care of the football and taking it away, we need to win the turnover battle. The turnover margin is huge. Winning the line of scrimmage, being able to run the ball and stop the run, eliminate the explosive plays. On defense, we need to make big plays. Offense, we need to win the special teams. We talked to our guys today about being physical, how important that's going to be. We monitor the penalties every day. We have to eliminate foolish penalties. We'll have some aggressive penalties, and we can work through those with coaching and technique. We'll have some aggressive penalties if we're playing where we're supposed to play. But we need to eliminate the foolish penalties. And so when you go into a game, there are certain things that you have to do to be able to win the game. And there's offense, defense, and special teams. We set goals in areas, and if you win that phase, whether it's third down or it's red zone, offense or defense, short yardage, 2 minutes, all those situations that come up, take care of the football, take it away. Those are things that you have to do to have success. And so we focus on those things in practice and in meetings. We have situational football in practice, and we grade it, we evaluate it, and then we present it to the players. And these are the areas. This is what you have to do. This is what's required to have success, in football games, to beat good teams. And so, we're going to see some unscouted looks. Obviously, we're not exactly sure what all they're going to do. They're going to have some new things for us in all three phases. We'll have to be ready to apply our rules and adjust to those things. And so, the hay's never in the barn. We'll be preparing all the way up into kickoff.
If I could follow up too on Graham's question, if the quarterbacks know where they stand, could you share a little bit about what your message was to maybe your number 2 guy after a competition that's been going on really since January?
Yeah, I really don't want to get into that. I mean, the guys have competed. The competition has been good for our team. They've handled it very, very well. And so, I commend them both in the way they've competed. And, we have 2, really good players there that we feel good about.
You've obviously mentioned quite a bit the special teams. That was an area of concern and trouble last year. And we really haven't talked a lot about that during camp. What type of things have you done maybe on a structural level to kind of bolster that? And do you anticipate using more starters maybe in those coverage and return units?
Yeah, we're going to use starters. And our players, they know that. They've known that from day one, that we're gonna put the best players out there, the best combination of guys that we can find. We have made some adjustments in some areas in terms of scheme, and from a personnel standpoint, we've made some changes, and we feel like we have more depth, overall in our team, and that bodes well for our special teams. We just have to go out and execute. We have to run and hit, and we have to strain like crazy. In the special teams game, we need to, it's an important phase of the game. And it's really field position. We talked to our guys this week, and we talked to them about it, quite a bit about, drive start analysis and score probabilities based upon where the drive starts. A lot of that has to do with special teams.
Following up on the question about opening up in Big Ten play, you mentioned you've done it both at conference and non-conference. Looking back at those years, the preparation, the game day of that opener, were there any differences? What were the differences?
I never really noticed the difference from a coaching standpoint in preparing for like a conference game, or say for instance, like if you're playing like a kickoff classic type deal. Like a couple of years ago, I was at Georgia, we opened up against North Carolina and that type of deal. So it wasn't a conference game, but it was a pretty formidable opponent, obviously, and the preparation, it doesn't change, regardless of who you open up with. Really, for me, every game is, you treat it special. We only get so many opportunities. I mean, it's not like some of these other sportsmen where you play so many games. You only get a few games. I mean, 8 months we prepare, and we only have a few opportunities. So I don't care when we play, where we play. It doesn't matter. I mean, we only have a few opportunities to get it done, and we work really hard for these opportunities, and we have to make the most of them. So it really doesn't matter to me, who we open up with or who we play or where it is. I really don't care. I mean, put the ball out in the parking lot and put it down. It don't really matter.
Hey Mel, this is a three-part question. How much do you value the element of surprise, and how much do you value guarding information, and then also regarding that aspect of it? I mean, how much were you influenced by Nick and Kirby in that sense, especially even with the depth chart versus rep chart kind of thing?
Yeah, well, I mean, in the opening game, there's going to be so many unknowns with both teams, and so that's to be expected. You don't want to do anything to give your opponent any type of advantage, and you don't want to put your team at a disadvantage by the information that you communicate and that you put out there. So everything that we do is about our team, what's best for our players, our team, our organization, and so it starts there. And if some of that is surprise or whatever, I mean, it's not like we're looking to spring anything out on anyone. We're not going out there. We're not trying to build a rocket. We're going out here to play ball, and so we'll see who lines up out there when we run out there, and we'll go play. But we're not trying to fool anyone. Right now, I mean, it's not going to be that type of game. I mean, it's a Big Ten game. It's not about that. It's going to be about execution and playing hard, and 60 minutes. That's what it's going to be about.
Now, you mentioned the fans earlier. Ryan Field obviously isn't the biggest place, but Michigan State usually travels pretty well there. But are you doing anything in practice this week to mentally sort of condition these guys to a live crowd atmosphere again, whether it's crowd noise in practice or any other kind of sudden change stuff, just to sort of simulate that best you can for guys that haven't played in this environment in a year or ever at this level?
Yeah, I mean, our practices are pretty up-tempo. They can be chaotic at times. We do use noise, at times, and we're doing everything we can to prepare our guys for the moment, and so, and we talk about really the cycle of a play and how to stay in the moment and eliminate distractions. The play call comes in, communicate the play, you review your assignment, you play the play, and then there's a quick evaluation, good or bad, and you own it, whatever it was, you have to own it, take responsibility, and then you got to get to neutral right away and move on to the next play. And that's just staying in the moment and focusing on what we have to do, because every play has a history and a life of its own, and we have to play every play, that way, and with the extreme effort, and we have to strain and to get it done and win that down, and we have to do that individually and collectively. And so, the noise, may be a factor, but it won't be something that we're not prepared for. That we're not ready for. So, it's going to be more about our execution and how hard we play.
Without getting into specifics of the depth chart, at the running back position, there's a lot of talent in that room. So can you give us a flavor of how you might divide those carries up? Are you going to primarily ride one hot back, or just sort of, let 2 or 3 guys play, or just kind of see how the flow of the game goes?
Yeah, we have like 4 or 5 backs that can play. They can carry the mail for us, tote the rock. So we like to keep fresh backs because we need guys to be able to hit the holes that are there and be able to, break tackles and fall forward on contact. So, we have 4 or 5 backs that can go in there and get that done for us.
And Mel, we didn't see Jacob Slade participate in the practice last Monday. Did you expect him to be ready to go on Friday?
We'll have to see. We still have a few days left to go. So, we'll see how it goes.
I know injuries are a favorite topic of yours, but is there anybody that you expect to be out for the season at this point in time?
Anyone I expect to be out for the season? Right now, I feel like the guys that are going to be playing for us, they should be ready for us, throughout the season. I don't see anyone that's going to be a major contributor that's out.
Mel, you've talked about Keon this summer, but true freshmen that we should expect to see Friday night, and would you rather ease these guys in a little bit, be in a conference game, or do you want to throw them in and see what they have?
You know what, I don't know how you ease anyone to a football game. And these guys go out there tiptoeing, it'd be a problem. So we've seen what the guys can do in practice, and we like to think that we practice at game speed, and we have some good players on our roster for guys to go against and compete. So we feel like if they can do it in practice, they should be able to do it in a game. And that's when you see someone step on the field on game day, that tells you that they've shown that they could do it in practice. And so we're not afraid to play freshmen. If you're good enough, you're old enough. And, nobody's holding their breath when anyone goes in the game. When we know what guys can do because we practice and when we're with them all the time. I mean, we see what they can do. We watch the film. We know everything about them. So, I got no issue playing freshmen. If they earn the playing time, we'll put them out there. And there's no easing into it. When they get out there, they need to be going.
Can you point to anyone who's earned that trust this summer?
Yeah, not at this time. We'll see. We'll see on Friday night who gets to go out there and play. I don't like to tell our opponents who we're playing or who they should expect to see and all that type of stuff. I prefer not to do that.
That's part of the feeling about not revealing the quarterback too, isn't it?
Excuse me?
That's part of the reason you're not revealing the quarterback too, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it?
Is there an update on the vaccination? Are you still about 95% as a team?
It's more like 96, 97, around there.
Are you a video game guy?
Am I a video game
Yeah.
guy? No, you know what? I tried to, back in the day, I used to be, like when I was younger, when I had hair and all that, I was pretty good at a couple of Mortal Kombat. I was pretty good. They had the college football deal. There was like an NBA deal that I was pretty good. But now, like I tried during COVID, I tried to play one of the video games. It was like a military type deal, and we're on these teams, and I kept getting shot in the back. So from like where'd that come from? What's that game where all these guys?
Call of Duty?
Yeah, it was Call of Duty. It was one of those Call of Duty something, and I tried to get down with that, and then it's just not the best use of my time.
Well, obviously, Michigan State's in this thing that's coming out today for Madden. And it's one of 10 programs. I guess kind of relying on your knowledge of playing those college football games back in the day. Is it a big thing still, do you think, for not just your players, but for recruits to kind of see Michigan State out there in that setting in the digital world?
No, it's great exposure for us. I mean, it's good to be out there and be talked about, and it's good for recruiting, obviously, and it's probably good for some of our players, but right now the focus is for us is preparing for the game. That's where our focus is, and that's where it's going to be. But certainly, it all adds up. There's certain things that resonate with certain people.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Players in here in a little bit.
Thank you for coming out. I appreciate what you do. Look forward to seeing you soon. Go Green.